Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CBT podcast. I'm here with Ethan. I'm here with Rod. And the Portland Trailblazers just won the Summer League. Keegan Murray of the Sacramento Kings took away the MVP. He averaged 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.3 steals a game on 50, 40, 81 shooting splits. Keegan Murray was a guy who I didn't love the pick by Sacramento at number 4 because he's older than Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, Scotty Barnes, and Evan Mobley. But he just went out and proved me wrong right away in the Summer League. The words that I heard describing him was NBA ready, and I think he did nothing but show that in the Summer League. Rod, do you have any thoughts on what Keegan Murray was able to do out there?
I am so happy you brought up Keegan Murray. Some could say he was piping hot throughout the whole Summer League. By far the most criticized pick of the NBA draft, the Kings drafting him at number 4. Every comment on every Instagram post about it was that the Kings front office was stupid because they passed up on Jaden Ivey of all people. I like Jaden Ivey. I think he'll be a good player. Do you know who the Kings already have? De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk. So here's an idea. Let's throw in a 6-foot point guard into that group of 4 small guards. Let's see how that would work for the 4th pick. No, the Kings aren't stupid. They took a 6'8" wing who can play the 2 through the 4, defends at a high level, and is an effortless 20-point scorer in the Summer League. That was okay. That was my little rant about the casual fans that come out in droves on draft night to criticize every pick. But yeah, the Kings with a rare W here, taking Keegan Murray.
Yeah, that moment he had in the game against Orlando when they were down 3 with like 4 seconds left and they got the steal and he hit the game tying 3. At that moment, I was like, okay, maybe this kid actually has a shot in this league. But Ethan, is there anyone you wanted to talk about that you saw perform in the Summer League?
I mean, definitely we got to talk about Paolo. Come on. Number 1 overall pick, just showing why he's the number 1 overall pick. What more you got to say about him? I mean, yeah, I don't know exactly how much he averaged like that.
He averaged 25 and 6, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.5 steals, and a block per game. But he also did average 5 turnovers a game. But that was only a 2-game sample as they ended up sitting him down because they felt they had seen enough, which I think is a fair analysis.
And those 5 turnovers, you know, every NBA player goes through those little stretches. We just saw it from Tatum. We see it from Brown. Just showing you how there's a lot of NBA players that still have a lot to work on, especially when it comes to turnovers and all that stuff. But I think overall, especially for what the Magic are working for, he's going to fit right into that young core group.
Yeah, when I look at a number 1 overall pick, I think the number 1 thing I want to see is do they look like they're on another level than the guys around them in Summer League? And Paolo definitely did. He impacted the game in so many ways, and he just, quite frankly, looked dominant compared to some of the other guys he was playing with.
Yeah, when Woj tweeted on draft day that it was looking like Jabari Smith was going to go number 1, I was a little surprised because I definitely felt like Paolo was the best player in the draft. So good job by Orlando not passing up on him for Jabari, who didn't look all that great in Summer League from what I saw.
Yeah. And if we want to move on to the number 2 pick, which I think he was the most talked about player from this Summer League, Chet Holmgren. A lot of opinions about him. He definitely had his highs. I just watched a replay of a game where he had like 4 turnovers in 90 seconds. So he had his lows as well, but I did like the fact that the Thunder kind of let him bring the ball up a lot of times just to see, let him show off his full skill set. And he's definitely still undersized. I don't think him playing the 5 is a real possibility yet, but if he grows into his body, his floor is already a lot higher than I personally thought it was. So his offensive ceiling is through the roof.
Yeah, he had the game where he broke the Summer League record for blocks in a game with 6 blocks, but he also had a game where he played against Kenny Lofton Jr. and just got tossed around like a rag doll. So when you see that, it makes you a little concerned when you think about how's he going to guard guys like Giannis if he can't even hold Kenny Lofton. But I agree. I think Chet's going to at least have to start his career playing the 4 because he just doesn't have the size and that defensive stature to be able to hang at the 5 in the NBA.
That's my only criticism for him. It's just his weight. I think at his height and his skill set, I think he can be a great NBA player. But it's just that way. I feel like there's so many other NBA players that just way more than him can back him down into the paint And I get it. I mean, he's taller, so he can kind of recover in that sense. But if you're going up against someone like Embiid, for example,
Oh,
if he backs
barbecue.
down, yeah, every single time, like any power forward or center with an IQ would just back him down and just score on him. So I think that's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for OKC. So that's my only thing about him.
Yeah. Another guy I wanted to bring up, kind of one of the more under the radar type players, second year player, New York Knicks, Quentin Grimes. Last season, he was kind of a pleasant surprise for the Knicks. He came off the bench due to some injuries they had, and he showed a lot of promise as a shooter. But I also think that was the main problem with him is that he kind of was reduced to a role of just a spot up shooter at times. But in the summer league this year, he averaged 22.6 points as well as 4 assists and 4 rebounds a game. So I think he proved this summer league that he can do a lot more, especially on the ball, compared to just spotting up in the corner for the Knicks.
Yeah, certainly. I didn't even know he had the capability to really put the ball on the floor and create his own shot prior to the summer league. So that has to be a welcome sight for all Knicks fans out there. But a guy I want to talk about as a Celtics fan who has been a pleasant surprise to me is second round pick JD Davison out of Alabama, who averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, 8.2 assists, 1.2 steals, and 1.2 blocks. That 8.2 assists was the most out of anyone in the summer league. And he did this on 43, 47, 86 splits and 47% from three for a guy whose biggest concern coming out the draft was his jump shot. So to see that as a super welcome sight. And he has the size and the defensive ability that current backup point guard Peyton Pritchard's lacking, to say the least. So it would be nice to see him get some actual minutes out there in the floor for the Celtics. He's on a two-way deal, but I think this is a guy who could seriously maybe take Peyton Pritchard's minutes on the Celtics.
I can definitely see that personally. I think just his already defensive capability already trumps Peyton Pritchard, which look like, especially for what Ime is trying to run, you definitely want JD out there instead of Peyton Pritchard. His athleticism is way better. Going to the attacking the basket, something that the Celtics at times struggled with when we didn't. It was basically just 3-point shooting. You just need someone to kind of go in and attack the paint, and I think JD really brings that. But we also saw him shooting threes, which a lot of people kind of wrote him off as not even a 3-point shooter or can even make them. And you kind of saw that he has the capability of making those like wide open catch and shoot. Like you kind of saw it, flashes of it. So I think once he develops more into that role, I think he could truly end up taking Peyton Pritchard's minutes. So
Yeah, the biggest thing that stuck out to me about his playmaking was how many lobs he was throwing. I mean, it felt like over half his assists came from just alley-oops. So when you're playing with a guy who, in my opinion, is the best lob threat in the entire league, and Robert Williams, the connection could be there almost instantly.
Yeah. The most impressive thing to me was that one of his biggest criticisms was that he came out a year early, that if he may have waited a year, he could have been a high lottery pick. But when I saw him in summer league, he looked like the most experienced, most veteran type player out there. So that was very scary as a Raptors fan. And as a Raptors fan, one guy I want to talk about, I got to talk about the best player from the Raptors summer league team in a very similar situation to the Celtics, actually. We also are looking for a guy at the backup point guard position, and Dalano Banton. He played sparingly at times last year. He was not very good. I hated seeing him on the court, but he looked much improved this summer league, putting up 16, 5, and 4. He's kind of a little too big and awkward to play point guard, but he's kind of too small to play forward. But in the summer league, he really looked a lot more refined, and we could definitely see him playing backup point guard for the Raptors next year.
Yeah, someone who really disappointed me in the summer league, a guy who was recently traded, a former Celtic legend, Aaron Nesmith. Every time I check the box score of a Pacers summer league game, his efficiency was just terrible, like 2 for 9, something like that. And we've said he's a long shot prospect, but I was expecting him to show at least some potential in this summer league, and that just didn't happen.
I think every Celtics fan was just watching Nesmith, just tuned in for every Pacers game you could possibly think of, just trying to see if maybe, because I remember last year he showed flashes of being a great shooter during the summer league. So you'd think that he improved. And then when he went to the Pacers, like, Celtics players tuning in, and you just realize that he's just what the Celtics were valuing him at, which is nothing. Shout out to the guys that calling us disrespectful for calling him toothpicks and dirt, but it's
Cans
just
of beans,
it's the
yeah.
truth. Yep, it's just the truth. We gave up Tice, a first round pick, and trash. It's just plain and simple. They were not going to crack the rotation in any way, shape, or form unless if we were up big in the last 5 minutes. Other than that, Nesmith was given chances to be on a playoff team, and he just couldn't do what he was drafted for. Therefore, Brad Stevens did what Ainge couldn't do and just moved on from him.
Yeah, the last thing you want to see from a third-year lottery pick player is extreme inefficiency against summer league talent. And that's exactly what Mr. Nesmith is showing us right now. So, yeah, I have absolutely no hopes for him going into the future. But a disappointment for me in the summer league was Josh Giddey. He did show a lot of flashes as a playmaker. I think that is his biggest strength, but the turnovers are still there. And the most terrifying thing for me, and I think what should be the most terrifying thing for OKC fans, is his three-point shooting. Josh Giddey shot 1 for 14 from 3 throughout the summer league. So I really just hope for the Thunder's sake that Josh Giddey is not another fantastic playmaker whose lack of a three-point shot holds them back in the future.
I'm not too worried about Josh Giddey because he's shown in his rookie season that he has the capability to be an NBA point guard. I mean, of course, you'd like to see him develop a jumper, but I'm not too concerned about what he did in the summer league because he still did average the second most assists per game right behind JD Davison. Is there anyone else that we wanted to talk about before closing this video out?
Yeah, I'll give a quick shout out to my boy. Well, not really a shout out, kind of a calling out to my boy Cum Bucket, Jonathan Kuminga. Similar to Giddey, top 10 pick from last year's draft. And every game I checked, his field goal percentage was below 30. He had multiple 20-point games, but I figured for a guy fighting for minutes like Kuminga is, he'd have a lot stronger showing in the summer league.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it for us in today's video. We're going to ask that you please drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Who impressed you in this summer league? Who disappointed you in this summer league? How will Wembanyama perform in the summer league next year? We thank you guys once again for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.